What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Many Thoughts with Dr. T. So, today we are reviewing, I believe, episode 5 of the new series on Own Somebody's Son. Okay, so let me pull up our deck and we are going to get into it. Okay, so the opening scene, James and Miss Charlize. They discuss the results of the photo shoot from last episode and who they think should win. So James thinks that Alyssia, all these shows, so many A names. Let's see. So he thinks Alyssia did the best and should have won. And his mom thinks, I think she thinks Sabrina should have won. But I also think Alyssia and him had the best chemistry. But I think probably, well, it's not probably, she said this. Alyssia is the type of girl that James would normally try to go for. And so that is why I think Miss Charlize was trying to choose somebody else. But Alyssia definitely won the photo shoot. And I thought the person that won or wins these games is the person that is supposed to go on a date. I feel like Miss Charlize understands that. Joshua's auntie understands that. Chad's mama does not understand it. Like, I know you did the best in the task, but Imma choose you. So, so anyway, the ladies got to give feedback on how they felt about the photo shoot, and Serena and Alyssia said that they enjoyed it. And Brevon said she was so happy to just be touched by James. Oh my God. I mean, it was so steamy. I was hot and I was like, Brevon, he's a man. Like it's okay. She acting like he was Jesus Christ or something. It was real weird. And she was kind of coming off like a fan a little bit. So it's like she kind of needs to taper it down because everybody was kind of like, girl. But I think she was the one that said that her first um boyfriend wasn't until she was 25 or something. So maybe this is a lot for her. I don't know. So, and my kids are downstairs, y'all. So I'm sorry if y'all hear random crying and screaming. That's what's happening. Um, they are being attended to though. um, let's see. Okay, so Alicia did win the date, and she is going to get to go out with James later on. So then we move on to Joshua and oops, might have went too far. Joshua and Oma and his auntie Oma, and I really like their chemistry. So they do the same thing. They talk about who they think should win and everything. And she asked him who did he feel the most energy and connection with, and he says honestly all of the women. So he kept it real generic. Chad and James were like, it was this person, but Joshua was like, I mean, I was feeling all of them. And he actually says that he wouldn't mind whoever his aunt chooses. And I just really like their dynamic. I think it's so sweet. And I also liked how she was like, I got you, son. Like, I got you. So I like that. It showed that he totally trusts her. Not only that, he knows that she knows his type. And I think he trusts that she gonna hook me up. She not gonna do me wrong. And she takes pride in that, like, I got you. I'm gonna make sure you good. And again, this is like the direct opposite from what we seen last week with Chad and his mom. How his mom was like directly going against every single thing, and he cannot trust his mom at all. So it was kind of startling to see the two different dynamics. So his auntie chooses Tamaris. Is that her name? Yeah, so his auntie chooses Tamaris just to see if she could open up more and to see if Joshua could get to know a little bit more about her because she seems to be really closed off. And so the other girl, this was kind of a weird. The other girls were in the pool, and this scene went on for a long time. The other 2 girls, which are, it's just so many people, Lexi and let's see, Lexi and who's the other one? Chambrielle, yeah. So Chambrielle and, Lexi are in the pool, and they were kinda upset that they didn't get to win the date with Josh, which is understandable. And then they start talking about how Josh is a closed book, and they don't really know what he does or who he is and all of this stuff, and I thought that was really interesting. And Chambrielle was really going on and on about this and how she felt like something was up. Um, what does he really do for his profession? Because he says he's a model. Then on the other hand, he says he's an entrepreneur, and entrepreneur can be so many different things. Um, so they were just saying that he's a closed book and they need to find out who he really is. And at the time, I thought this was strange, and I was wondering where this was coming from. And I thought maybe it's just something they haven't shown us on TV. 'Cause I didn't know that they felt so strongly and they felt this way. And Joshua and Tamaris have their date. Um, it was funny because Joshua cracked a joke. But I don't know if Tamaris was too in the moment and she just missed it or if the joke just like sailed right over her head. But he was like, "Yeah, this drink is really sweet and spicy, you know." And normally a guy would be like you know what I'm saying? But he was like me. And, so she was supposed that was supposed to be funny and she was supposed to laugh. And she was just like, yeah. I was like, Tamaris, hello. I don't know if she just didn't get it or what was happening there. But that was funny to me. So then Joshua asked Tamaris what she was looking for in a man. And Tamaris did a good job. She listed a lot of really good qualities. I was like, dang, girl, did you have something like in your back pocket? Like she was like, oh yeah, and this. Yeah, that's about it. I was like, okay, I like it. I like it. Um, and then she said she likes a man that's grounded in his profession and in his career. And I started laughing because I was like, did the girls tell her to say that? Because they're like confused about what he does or whatever. Um, and then it occurred to me when he said it in his confessional, I forgot that he hasn't told them that he's an NFL player. I don't even know that I forgot. I guess I just didn't realize that he didn't tell them that. So it makes sense that when they ask him about what he does, he's kind of probably like, "Oh yeah, and it probably doesn't sound right and cohesive, like he's leaving something out because he is. And so I was like, okay, Chambrielle was good for picking that up. I had totally forgot about that, so that made the whole pool thing make sense. So I mean, I think they had a good enough date. That it wasn't really much to it, but it seemed like they were connecting. But it was hilarious because when they got back home, and then I guess Lexi and Chambrielle had made this whole plan about what they were gonna do and how they're gonna figure out how the date was and like all this stuff and they bored, y'all. I mean, what else they gonna do at the house? So I get it. But it was funny because as soon as Tamaris and Joshua got back to the house, they were like waiting like right at the door. Like, hey, what y'all doing? So I thought that was pretty funny. And Tamaris was mad because she thought they were trying to kind of block and keep her from getting like a hug or a kiss from him. Well, really, they were just trying to get the information and the tea about what happened with the date. So then we switch real quick and we go well, no. So, let me see. Yeah, so then Lexi takes Joshua in the kitchen, and this was just real weird. I was just like, "What's happening right now?" Lexi takes Joshua in the kitchen to corner him, I guess, and ask him about the date. And, I do think she was just like, "Well, I mean, how was the date? What happened?" And I do think Joshua made a good point. He was like, "You have some time along with me now, like, you might wanna use this to your advantage," you know what I mean? Since because we don't get a lot of alone time, and let's talk about us, let's talk about you, but you worried about what I did on my date with Tamaris. So I thought that was a good point. Um, and while it is cool, I think it probably is hard for the guys because they have to try to be impartial and neutral and not have it come off like they're showing any one woman too much attention, and I know that's really, really hard. So I kinda feel for him a little bit. He's just doing the best he can. Um And then, yeah, Lexi was like, "I mean, you just left a girl and now you right in the kitchen." He just left a girl, now he right in the kitchen with me. I'm like, "Girl, this is a game show. Like, you know what's happening. This is not real life right now." Like, in real life, yeah, that would be crazy, but I mean, y'all all live together. What was he supposed to not talk to you now since he went on the date? I mean, um, so then while this is happening, Chambrielle takes Tamaris in the living room, and I guess she's doing her detective work, and she's asking Tamaris if Tamaris would have done anything differently. And Tamaris said she wished she would have asked more questions. And it just felt weird because the camera was like going back and forth between these two scenes. It's like it was almost like an interrogation team or something. I didn't know what was going on. Um, but Chambrielle, I will say she has really good intuition because she keeps saying that like Josh is a mystery. He's the only person that's still a mystery in the house, which is true because they don't know his true profession, and she's just not buying into the whole him being an entrepreneurial thing. Which I mean, he didn't lie because he did say he's in like the fashion industry as well. Um, and then she also said, you know, he's the type of guy where you really have to ask him questions. Like he'll be open and honest, but you have to take the lead and ask him questions. So it's like, okay, I see where she's coming from with that because the other girls are kind of just going along to get along. So she might be right that Josh needs a little challenge. Somebody's going to challenge him a little bit. So then we go back over to James and James and Miss Charlize. Um, so then let me see. All these Lexis and Alysas is it's getting me confused. Okay, Alyssia. James and Alyssia, they go on their date, which is wait for it, outside. And that's why I was surprised that Josh and Sabrinae got to go out of the house and go somewhere. I was like, "Uh-oh," on a date, because you know all the dates are like in the backyard. So same thing with James and Alyssia. They just in the backyard eating pretty much um on their date. And it was funny because I'm like, remember they were putting those, whatever that was, you know, they were feeding each other. And I'm like, y'all know y'all don't gotta put the whole thing in your mouth, right? I mean, the joint was about like that big, and they were like, like, you know, you can take a bite, like it's okay. So they both seem to be uncomfortable trying to chew all of that food that they were putting in their mouth. But overall, really good date. So James talks about his parents and their relationship and how he really admired how they went through sickness, you know, health and sickness. Because you remember he told us that his mom had cancer. So he led with that. And Alyssia did such a phenomenal job. Alyssia is so good. She did a phenomenal job. She piggybacked off that and was like, "Oh, sickness and health, tell me more about your mom." And I thought that was good because that was gonna I thought James might cry because that was gonna get him to talk about something deeply emotional. And he's gonna leave feeling like, man, I really opened up to her. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, come on, Alyssia, I like it. So she did that, and it was really moving, and he went in and talked about, um, how he didn't know if his mom was gonna make it at a certain point in time. He didn't know she was gonna wake up the next day, um, and how much he loves his mom. Yeah, so he talked about how tough it was when she had cancer. He didn't know if she would make it, and, and how it made him start to think about all the things that she would miss, like, him getting engaged, him getting married, him having his first child, and she wouldn't be able to experience all of that. And so, I thought that was really good. He really opened up a lot to her and shared something that was deeply, I'm sure emotional, to him. Um, and the way he talked about his mom was just so sweet. That's how every mother would want their son to look at them and to talk about them. So it was just so sweet. He was like, "That's my girl. Like, I just love her so much." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." So I love that for him, and I'm happy that his mom was able to pull through as well. So I thought all was well. And then boom, Alicia drops a bomb out of clear left field, that I didn't see coming. So she was like, "So, about this whole religion thing." She says she knows that James and his mom, which we've seen, faith and religion are really big for them, and she grew up in it as well. But she started to question some things along the way, and now she's um, into faith but not religion. So she asked him how he feels about that, and I was like, "Say what?" Um, and you know what? On one hand, I'm glad Alicia brought this up, but she could have swept this under the rug because, like I told y'all, religion is, I believe, one of the biggest foundational things you got to get right in a relationship. Not saying it can't work, but oh my goodness, will it be hard? So I'm glad she's trying to get clarity on the front end. So I will say that knowing that this could potentially cost her and she might have to go home. I do like that she's like, I know I might have to get sent home, but I got to bring this up. So I applaud her for doing that. Um, so then let me see. So I'm glad that she did that. I was wondering because remember, y'all, I don't know if y'all forgot or not, but Alicia has 2 kids. Um, right, is that right? Because 'Cause I'm looking, she's 25. Does she have 2 kids? Am I getting confused? I believe it's Alicia. Yeah, I think she has the one that has 2 kids. And don't get me wrong, I know kids are not bad, but in the dating world, it is kind of a strike. So she has 2 strikes. Then the religion too. So I'm like, it's not looking good for Alicia. I don't think they're gonna make it. Cause I was like, well, maybe he's gonna be able to look past the 2 kids. I don't really think so. I don't think him or his mom's gonna look past it. But then when she dropped this too, I'm like, Alicia, you compounding too many things. So at this point, I wasn't thinking that they were going to they're gonna make it because like she said, James and his mom do take that really seriously. And in James's confessional, I love that he didn't waver on his faith and he did stand 10 toes down and he was like, that's a big thing. And if I'm not connecting with the person I'm dating on faith, then it's a wrap. And I was like, okay, good. Because most guys would, if the girl looks good enough, the woman looks good enough, they're gonna be like, well, we can go to church every other Sunday. They'll try to figure it out. So I like that he was like, no, if it's not right, then I'm gonna cut it. So I like that. Um, Yes, I really like that, and I'm gonna have to show my sons this tape, in 10 years when they start dating, so I really like that. Um, so then Miss Charlize is with, Sabrinae and Brienne while they're outside having their date. These names are really confusing me, y'all. It's like 9 women to try to keep up with, so I'm sorry. It's taking me a little second. Um This was funny and it was awkward. So they were in the house and Brienne was saying that no, it was Sabrinae. She was saying, remember when they had the photo shoot and Sabrinae was feeding James a strawberry and they kinda bit it at the same time. I guess their lips touched or whatever. At least that's what James said. But Sabernet was like, "Oh, no, our lips didn't touch." She was trying to do that. And remember, Miss Charlize is already questioning Sabernet. She already thinks she's kinda closed off and secretive and maybe trying to play like a good girl persona. So that's already in her head. So then Saturday was like, "No, our lips didn't touch." And so Miss Charlisa in her confessional was like, "Dang, why doesn't she just own it and just say it like it's okay?" Um, um, so yeah, Miss Charlisa was wondering why she just didn't admit to it. Then Miss Charlisa said she just wants the girls to be authentic. Um, this was so funny. She's like, "Yeah, I just want y'all to be authentic and be yourself because I don't really do fake." And she looks at Sabrina like dead in the eyes. That was so funny. Miss Charlize is one of those mamas that's just a straight shooter and she can't help it. She's just gonna say what it is. Like there's no filter there. So that was so funny. She looked her dead in the eyes. And it just got extremely awkward from there. Miss Lisa went off on a whole tangent about being fake and because you can't hold fake. And I wouldn't want my son to waste his time. And that's a fact. And the girls were like, they didn't know where this was coming from or where she was going with this. So then we come back. So where we left off, y'all remember? I said that James did such a good job standing on his faith, and he was like, "Nah, because if it ain't right, it ain't right, and it's a wrap." Well, when we come back from break, James has done like a whole 360. I didn't know what was going on because I was applying them, remember? So we come back from break, and honestly, y'all, I'm not even trying to be funny. I don't even know what they were talking about. I think what was happening was because they started talking more about this faith thing. And she was like, "Yeah, because I carry the values, but not the faith of the religion, because the religion has the values and the faith." And were y'all confused? I didn't know what she was talking about. Y'all, that could mean so many different things. And I'm giving them a pass because this was like their first, I guess, solo date. And I guess you don't have to go that deep on your very first date. So I was going to give it a pass. But I just don't know what any of those terms were. They was talking about values and all these different terms. I don't know. Because my thing is, James, what you need to be asking is like, okay, so for example, I want to go to church every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Alicia, what are you saying? Are you saying that will you come, or are you saying you'll sometimes come, or are you saying you'll go to church on Sunday but you're not going to do Bible study? You know what I'm saying? I have the values, but I don't have the faith. I just don't know what that really means. So I think if James is serious about Alicia, he really needs to clear that up. Like, what does that mean? Like, or can we pray? Um, what if I want to teach our kids some scriptures and some Bible verses? It's just being that that's a priority for him and that's number one for him, you got to get that ironed out or that's going to be a mess. And so I don't think that they ironed anything out right here. I think what was happening, I think she was trying to explain, but she really wasn't explaining. I think James was just really enjoying this date and he didn't want to mess it up. He didn't want it to go left. So I think he was just trying to sweep it under the rug. Like, yeah, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, if you got the values and I got the values, and then sometimes you got the faith, and then, I had the faith, and then, yeah, we'll be cool. And she was like, shoo, I'm so glad you understand. And I was confused. But long as they good, I'm gonna go with it. I was like, James, what happened? We came out of break and you did a whole 360. Um, yeah, I just don't think it is gonna work out for him and his mom, though. I don't think with the 2 kids, and if she's kinda wishy-washy on the faith thing, I just can't see it. But overall, it seemed like a really good date, and Alicia did, I was gonna say she did a really good job of flirting. She did a really good job. That's kind of a lost art these days, because, I don't want this to come off wrong. Because, women, we are powerful, we can do all the things, but at the end of the day, like, a man still wants to feel like a man, and, if you watch this date, Alicia is just so good, like, she had the eyes going, "Yeah, I know, I just," very soft-spoken, and he was just eating it up. So, I was like, "Okay, Alicia, I see you working." Um, so, yeah, this episode was good, it had a lot of twists and turns. So, the next morning, y'all, my boy James, right? He's up cooking for the ladies, which was real cool. He was cooking breakfast. I thought that was real sweet. All the ladies have gathered in the kitchen to eat. And out of nowhere, Brevine comes down with sunglasses on. And I was like, and why not me? Everybody was like, why are you wearing sunglasses in the house, girl? My immediate thought was she drank too much. And I thought maybe her eyes was messed up or something. But then Sabrina was like, maybe she was emotional about something. And I was like, emotional about what? Miss Shalice does not have any filter. And I busted out laughing. She was like, okay, go ahead and take them glasses off. James was like, "Ma, chill. Like, it's okay. You don't gotta take your glasses off." That was hilarious. Oh, Miss Shalice is funny. So then, Brevine tries to, like, break the ice because everybody kinda is like, "What is happening right now?" And she's like, anyway, so do y'all need help with anything?" Miss Shalice was like, "Oh, you late." Like, "What you mean we need help? We've been down here cooking for the last 45 minutes. We need help. Like, you late." I was dying laughing. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Because me, y'all, and this can be a good and bad thing. I have like the filter of the filters, right? Like I am always concerned about what I'm saying, how it's coming off, and I'm overly concerned. I have like a strong spirit of discernment and I can feel what other people are feeling. And so I always want everybody to feel at ease and comfort. You know what I'm saying? So I would have never said that. And that's why I love people that can just they don't have a filter and they just gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that in people. Um yeah, so we're still trying to figure out what's going on with Brie Vine. I thought if I was Brie Vine and something was happening, I would have just told them that I was sick and I would just be like, hey, just put my breakfast to the side and I'll come get it later. Cause you shine like a big spotlight on yourself for no reason. I would have stayed in my room and whatever was happening, I just would have figured it out and just said, would have text somebody like, hey, y'all, I'm not feeling so good. Can y'all put me a plate to the side? I get it later. You know what I'm saying? Coming down with the shades was real crazy. Again, I don't know. Maybe production made her. I don't know. She was saying she has allergies. Um, Nobody was really buying it. That's what I'm saying. She should have just the better story would have been I'm sick and I'm upstairs. Um, then so that was awkward. Then there was another awkward moment because at some point she had called James her man. It's like, yeah, because that's my man. And I didn't take it serious. I thought she was just kind of joking around, but it seemed like everybody took it real serious. Sabrina was like, "Well, I heard you was single." And he was like, "Yeah, that's because I am single." And I was like, "Dang, y'all, I didn't think she was serious like that." But I don't know. So that was like strike number 2 for Brie Vine. So I was like, "Brie Vine, you got to chill. You doing a lot right now. Just be quiet." So then it was funny too because James was opening the door so the ladies could go outside. So Sabrina goes out, Brevon goes out, his mom goes out, and then he like just slams the door and then sits down to keep talking to Alyssia. And I was just like, "Wow." I thought it was funny, but I was like, "Dang, so y'all gonna get another date while we outside?" 'Cause I know if it was me, I woulda came back in the house. I was like, "Oh, we inside? Okay." And I woulda just came back in. Um, and again, y'all, I'm curious because like I said, in my opinion, Alicia has the 2 kids, and she's has the values and the faith and all that. So I just don't see James choosing her in the end. So I was thinking you probably need to be figuring out a little bit more about Provine and Sabrinae. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't think you're gonna choose Alicia. But I think what's happening is James comes off to me as a really cool guy, attractive, but he's kind of sort of a little on the nerdy side. You know what I'm saying? A cool one. So he is probably just soaking up the fact that he gets to date the hot girl. You know what I'm saying? And so I think he's just gonna use every second of this show to just embrace this. I think at the end he's not gonna choose her, but I think he's like, why not? Like the hot girl is into me. I'm just about to. That's what I think is happening because that's the only thing I can think of because I don't think he's gonna choose her, but I guess he's just taking advantage of the time. She is beautiful. She has great conversation. They laugh, they joke, and so I guess he's just like, look. I'm just about to use this time to just be in her face. Um, um, and I felt so bad for the girls outside. Like I said, I would have came back inside while James and Alicia are in the house having the time of their lives, laughing and everything. And I know it wasn't funny, but Miss Charlisa and Brevon and Sabernet were having like the most serious of the serious conversations outside. Elisa and James were like, "Ha ha, yeah, you crazy, yeah." And they are outside like real serious. So Bravon starts to talk about how she was a pageant girl and in those industries, especially as a black woman, they may have been talking about her features, like she needs to straighten her hair, or if she was bigger, that she needs to lose weight. And this was sad, and she was saying how she's carried a lot of that with her that's affected her, and how she might have brought some of that into the show as well. And again, that's what I'm saying. It's so important to get therapy, to work out your issues and to heal. This is what it looks like when you're not healed and then you try to jump into another situation and relationship. Um like she was hurt for real, for real. So I was like, "Ooh, she might need to leave the show. Like this might not have been a good idea for her." I guess the issue was what had her emotional is that James was spending so much time with Alicia and Sabrinae and not her. And so I guess she took that to heart and took that personally. Um I'm like, "You're on a show." So but I don't know if they knew when they signed up for the show that they were gonna be going up against other women. So Imma give her a little bit of a pass because 'cause I'm like, "You knew you were coming on this show," but maybe she didn't know that it was gonna be her and living in a house with other women and mom. Like, maybe they didn't know the whole story. Um, but yeah, so Brevon, like, breaks out crying because Miss Charlize tells her that she is enough. So then Brevon takes off the glasses, she's crying, Miss Charlize hugs her. It was a lot going on. She's not ready to be in a relationship. Absolutely needs time to heal. If she's crying like that because somebody told her she's enough, I was like, "Ooh," and I'm not trying to make light of it. Um, but she is clearly very, very broken, and she needs to really talk to somebody about that. It just made me seem like she's emotionally unstable, and I think Miss Charlize said that too. She was like, "That was kinda intense." And so, but yeah, that was the show, y'all. A really good episode, a lot of twists and turns. Um, And so I'm really interested next time to see what happens with, Chad, because they that show ended pretty crazy last time with him and his mom being on opposite ends, so I'm excited to see that, and I'm wondering how this show works 'cause I guess nobody else is gonna get kicked off. Maybe all the ladies go to the end, and then they, like, choose one person at the end, I guess? But if that was the case, I was like, they shoulda just kept all 4, you know what I'm saying? And gave all 4 ladies a chance, so but anyway, it is what it is, so, I will see you guys on the next episode. See ya.